Under 12 months ago, nobody had flashed Font 8C. Now, 12 months later, 3 people have, and one of them has done it 3 times. We are, of course, talking about Adam Ondra, a man who is already considered to be the greatest climber of all time, further adding to his greatness by doing things that have previously been considered unthinkable. It was only in November last year that Adam flashed Foundation's Edge in Fionnay, Switzerland. At the time, he had this to say on Instagram: "Some years ago, I would never have thought that I would be capable of flashing 8C. I never considered trying one. However, this winter, flashing some 8B pluses with margin, I began considering this option. I had this particular problem in mind as a good candidate. I set off, and after a perfect try, I was at the top of the boulder. It felt effortless, pure perfection. Unbelievable moment. Later that evening, I got really close to flashing another 8C, big nose. I did it 2 tries later." There are extremely fine margins of flashing a problem of this grade, or flashing any problem. If one thing goes wrong and you're off, that's the flash over, and there is no further flash attempt. You only get a single opportunity. As a result, it helps to be at a whole other level, to have a lot more in the tank. And in the case of Adam Ondra, it illustrates where he is at right now. On paper, Sudan Soul is Adam's only Font 9A, although there is a distinct chance that Terra Nova is too, given the experiences of Will Bosey, who's repeatedly tried and thus far failed to repeat it. But flashing this many 8Cs indicates that he is still very much at the top of his game. It is pretty incredible that Adam's still at the forefront of cutting edge bouldering, not least because he is, at the age of 33, an elder statesman of the genre. Of course, most of the other people operating in and around Font 9A are either in their 20s or, most recently, as young as 16. Not that it was ever in doubt, but it demonstrates that Adam has still very much got it. Fast forward to present day, and Adam has added 2 further 8Cs to his tick list, flashing Aidan Roberts' The Lion's Share in Brioni and Dave Graham's Celestite in Valbavona, Switzerland. Adam had this to say about The Lion's Share on Instagram: "Still buzzing from my second 8C flash, this time Lion's Share in Switzerland, which could be my hardest flash of a boulder ever." Within the same post, he highlighted that he had a few other 8C flash candidates, and lo and behold, just a few days later, the news was in. He'd done it again, and this time with Celestite, the Dave Graham 8C in Valbavona. Dave Graham had originally proposed a grade of Font 8C plus for this problem, and that was reinforced and backed up by the problem's second ascensionist. However, Pietro Vidi, who made an ascent just a few days before Adam's flash, had suggested 8C, and Adam had agreed with that assessment. Writing on his website, Adam had this to say: "Celestite has never been on my mind as a candidate for a flash try. Looking at a video of the absolute kneebar master and wizard himself, Dave Graham, who put up the first ascent of this incredible boulder, it doesn't look flashable at all. I was there with Pietro Vidi and Giuliano Cameroni, who showed me all the beta, and I set off for my flash try with nobody, including me, really expecting that I would get very far on this boulder. But somehow I felt all the body positions really well. My knee pads were sticking, and even though my biceps were about to give in, all of a sudden I was on the lip, not really knowing what to do, and with my hands being really sweaty. Luckily, I kept it together and made it to the top. Regarding the grade, we agreed with Pietro, who did it a few days before me, that the boulder is 8C. Dave's beta was slightly harder." Now, the mad thing about this run of form is that this may not be the end of the big 8C flashathon. Bearing in mind only 2 other people have flashed 8C, and that 1 year ago nobody had. It's absolutely incredible how far we've come and how quickly, and that it's Adam leading the charge. Adam also appears to be keeping a very open mind in terms of what the possibilities are with regards to flashing. Adam's not restricting his scope to just 8C boulder problems. He tried Nathan Phillips's Deep Fake at 8C+, but fell off the move going to the lip. So are we about to see a Font 8C Plus flash from Adam within the coming days or weeks? As a broad look at Adam's resume, he's previously flashed Super Krakenet at French 9A Plus, and on more trad and UK grounds, Lexicon, Neil Gresham's E11. The fact that he is flashing Font 8C does make you wonder, when he does go back to sport climbing again, if there is something harder in store, both in terms of red pointing and also on-sighting. The dilemma for Adam when choosing routes to flash is simply finding the 9Bs out there that he hasn't done before. As if all of Adam's achievements in bouldering, sport climbing and also competition climbing weren't enough, we would also like to remind you that this is the man that did the second ascent of the Dawn Wall on El Capitan. We are looking undoubtedly at one of, if not the greatest climber to have ever lived.